welcome to another episode of XenoChat. I am one of the hosts, Tyler, along with Justin.
Hey everyone.
Alright, we got a lot of familiar faces back with us today. First up, we have Robin.
It's your boy.
Alright, and we got Kat.
Hello.
And making their return for, it's been a little bit, but here is Erin.
Hi. I think it's been since 2019. Maybe. No, wait. No, we did the holiday episode.
We did do the holiday episode, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my bad. Okay.
That was amazing. No, it has been a long time for me. It's been like more than
the 2020 count.
Yeah. I don't...
The first part of
2020
2020.
doesn't count.
It counted up until about
Yeah.
February.
Yeah, 2020
Yeah.
ended
Yeah, after
Katsucon.
Katsucon.
After that, we
Which
just
also means that you were
not speak
technically
of it.
in that episode,
Yeah.
so...
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God.
I
How
guess.
many
So,
episodes have I
put it
forgotten?
to you this
It's
way.
been a
Let's
weird
just-
year. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
How about this? Let's
I've
just
lost
pretend that
some time.
Katsucon was last week.
I wish. Okay.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
that works.
Yeah, I already feel that.
All
way.
right. Well, today's
Yeah.
topic is actually about because Father's Day should be, by the time this is published, should be around the corner, and we are talking about Xeno dads, or as I'd like to call it, Baddy Daddies.
Well, they're not all bad.
Yeah, not all bad. There's a lot of bad dads, but there's some good. There's some good ones.
You know, most in between.
Yeah.
Not all
A
dads.
few
So yeah, we're gonna
betweens.
talk about. Yeah, we're gonna start off with talking about the bad ones since there's a lot of them. But yeah, we're gonna just go through each of Xenogears, Xenosaga, and Xenoblade games. Just talk about the bad ones, and then when we get there, we'll get to the good ones, the true good dads.
Yeah. And, like, generally, I've noticed that a lot of modern video games, the dads are terrible people, but there are good dads that exist in the world, I swear. It's just, like, a lot of dads are bad, and it's important to call out that they are bad. But if you, the listener, find that we are, oh god, I don't even know the terminology anymore. Your fave is problematic, whatever. It's okay to like them. We are not saying you're not okay to like these characters. We are just putting the info out there.
Exactly.
Agreed. We are just discussing them as
How-
characters.
Yeah, and their quality of dadness.
It's all good.
We are
Okay,
trying to focus
so
on them
let's-
more in the dad way than in the character way.
Mm-hmm.
And
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, and I mean, bad dads can make for interesting characters. So
Exactly.
it's
I'm sorry
it's
if we
all
problematic your
fictional. It's
fave. So in some of the cases of these, I'm sorry if that was your
I
fave.
preemptively unproblematic your fave. For any fave
Excellent.
problematic in this session.
Alright.
We all
Man,
have
what a world we
problems.
live in where we have to have that disclaimer.
All my faves are problematic.
I'd
in
rather
some
do
way.
it than not.
Sure.
Yeah.
we all have
Oh, God.
problematic faves.
I just, had the image of somebody doing a cover of Every Sperm is Sacred to, Every Fave is Problematic.
What? What is what? What is that?
That's from Monty Python. I'll send it
From
to you
the
later.
Oh.
Python.
I'm
sketch.
sorry, I'm
It's
uncultured.
no, it's fine. I'll send it to you later. That's
okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so should we talk about Xenogears? That has a whole ton of dads.
Yes.
Oh, and also for clarity,
first-
this does include people who are dad adjacent. So stepdads or close enough to filling the father role. It's not purely about biological dads, because as we all know, your biological family isn't necessarily your family.
Exactly. Just as long as you're giving dad vibes, that's what this is all about.
Yeah,
Word.
So, first up, we have Kan Wong,
I hate him.
Faye's father.
I hate Kan Wong.
Go into that.
So I just take personal issue with any character where they're going to do a bunch of shitty things and then go, but actually this was for your own good. I'm like, if you do shitty things, just admit you did a shitty thing. Don't try to sweeten the deal. So that's Yeah, that's basically where Kan Wong goes on my shit list.
Yeah.
But let's see, Kan Wong, when
Yeah,
Baby
that's
Faye was saying,
good.
hey,
Yeah.
my mom's being abusive, he
Yeah,
said, you're
that
just
was
making shit up. And then when Baby Faye proceeded to process his trauma through multiple personalities, Kan was like, oh, your personality's too violent. What if I just use my magical brain powers to give you a new personality? Like, sorry that your traumatized son isn't traumatized in the way you like, sir? And then
Oh
he
my
just takes his
God.
blank slate son and just goes, alright, here's a town in the middle of butt-fuck nowhere. You can raise my son. I noticed that you have a doctor on a cliff. That sounds wonderful for him. Then he goes into a tournament dressed up as a frogman and proceeds to beat up his son in front of a crowd. Just to be a dick. Like, there's no fucking reason for that. He's just being a dick. And then also, 2 years after he leaves his son in Hicksville, he goes on to adopt a new kid.
Wow.
He's like, oh man, I fucked up with that kid. Let me go adopt a hamster. And adopts Choo Choo. And then just fucking leaves her after a year. Like, fuck this guy. Fucking hate Kan Wong. Oh yeah, and then there's the bit where, again, he goes, oh, I did all of this because I loved you, son. Like, no you didn't, you asshole. You loved him. You would have believed him at the beginning when he said mom's being abusive. I hate Kan.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man, I wish I could see the look on that one Kong Wong fan out there that's listening to this podcast
Valid.
that's just like in their chair, like seething right now, like, damn it! Those are all things I love about him.
And you know what? Fine. If that's why you like him, cool. But also, he sucks.
You know, it's weird because I never really actually picked up on most of that. Like, I didn't know that he created Faye's alternate personality just because he didn't like it so much. Was that, like, can you explain how
I mean,
that
I'd love to
happened
explain
in
how that
canon?
happened in
I don't
canon, but
remember.
it's just very, like, unclear. He's like, oh man, this is a violent boy. What if I just shoved that into the back of his psyche, and here's blank slate boy?
Because, like, I
Unclear.
was always under the impression that Faye's separate personalities, like, occurred within Faye's consciousness.
So there's,
but,
of course, base level
I
Faye,
don't
which I think
know
ultimately becomes the coward in his psyche.
Mhm.
And of course the coward makes id. And then Khan goes, oh, that's no good, and we'll call him Blank Faye. And then Blank Faye made another Faye that I don't quite remember what his deal was. But I do remember that there were ultimately 4.
Interesting.
Because it says something about, oh, I didn't expect you to
Oh.
make another personality. But I do not quite remember what
Okay.
that one did.
I am bad at remembering.
Oh, it's fine. A lot of this is,
protagonists.
like,
Thank you for filling me
because retrograde amnesia broke it down so nice and succinctly. So it's like,
Ah.
oh,
Plug,
this
plug.
helps me digest how much I
Okay.
hate Khan.
in. Okay.
A reoccurring pattern with me discussing all of these characters will be every time they go, actually, I did this because I love you, I will seethe with rage.
It's very valid.
Mhm. Well, shall we go on to another bad
That's valid.
dad?
Well, yes, we can move along.
Okay. Kaiser Sigmund. AKA,
Rico's dad.
oh no. I was gonna say Blanca, I'm
Oh
terrible.
my god!
You can say Blanca, that's fair.
They'll know who we mean.
Yeah.
Rico's dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's terrible. He threw out his son and wife after finding out that basically his son was a mutant, right? Or do I have that right?
Yeah, when it was clear that Rico was very physically a demi-human, he was like, time to throw out the whole son. And, I mean, if you look at his profile, you can see that Sigmund has slightly pointy ears, so it was probably motivated by, if they see this very clearly demi-human baby and see how his mother is clearly fully human, they'll know that she isn't the cause of this. So he just had to throw out the mother with the bathwater.
Yeah, I always thought there
I've never heard
You
that
haven't
turn of
heard
phrase.
throw out the
I
baby
love
with the
it.
bathwater? Oh,
I
I
haven't
couldn't
heard
say
throw out
baby,
the mother with
because,
the
I mean, he did that too, but he didn't limit himself. He's like, no,
Yeah.
there's more bathwater. I can keep throwing out relatives. Just get rid of the whole family.
I was hoping that there would be more to that storyline, but of course that
No,
doesn't really go.
no, Rico just gets thrown out with the story.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, that's cool, Rico. You can hit a cool gear and bye.
Yeah, that's bad. It's like his dad threw him out, the game threw him out. Man, Rico can't catch a
Oh.
break.
Like, Rico is kind of like on the level with Ramses of levels of thrown out.
Yeah, see, this is why I'm like, I need to
Aw.
make an original character whose sole purpose in life is to give Rico smooches.
I support you in that. Just on principle.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you. Alright, a much more prominent dad. We have a man who we have spoken about at length, Satan Izuki.
Oh.
Yeah, Satan, he never talks to his daughter, ever. And, you know, it's funny, like, before doing the podcast, I honestly forgot he even had a daughter. And,
Poor
like,
Midori.
yeah, and that I forgot he had a daughter, and I forgot she even had a name until, like, we did the Satan episode, and we were talking about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, I think Satan is there to give us the dad impression, but he doesn't act on his dadliness a lot.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's
No.
very weird. It's like I was watching the X 1999 movie,
Oh, okay.
and there's a guy
Oh,
in there
yeah.
who is also very Satanly, and he talks about his family, but we don't see the family, and it has the same emotional brain feel as Satan for me. But like, is it ever explained why Midori doesn't talk, or why she like?
It,
I know she's psychic.
yeah, they do
But I don't
imply
know.
that she's psychic, but the small thing I was going to say was just like, it's the speaking isn't so much the issue, because after all, there are plenty of reasons a child might not specifically speak. It's that there's like no communication going on at all. There's like nothing nonverbal happening either.
Like he never. Yeah, he never like bounces her on his
Yeah.
knee or hugs her or makes motion like any affectionate motion toward his daughter ever.
Faye makes more affectionate motions. Faye's like, hey Midori, do you want to
Yeah.
play later? Hey Midori, I found your ring. Like, there's nothing from Satan. He sees his daughter and Shavada, just like, who's that? They look familiar. I swear I've seen this kid somewhere. So that's,
Yeah, he might be the father, but he's not really a dad.
it's just like Yondu said.
Who's Yondu?
Guardians of the Galaxy, he had a line
Oh.
about, like, that guy might have been your father, but he sure wasn't your daddy. Or something.
Yes.
I might have been
I
in the
have
reverse
seen that.
order, but same principle.
Yeah. You got. You good?
It's all good.
Go.
No, I
All
got-
right.
Okay. It just had been a very long time since I'd seen Guardians 2.
Sorry.
So.
That's a good movie. Anyway, you know who else was a friend of Satan and might have gotten some parenting tips from him?
Jesse Black.
Bad parent disease.
They just
Oh,
trade
yeah.
notes on how to be a shitty parent.
That's 2 out of 3 elements. Or, no, it's 2
Yeah,
out of 4
what
elements.
happened?
Oh, God.
Who did we lose?
Ah! Well, people cut Ramses out of the elements a lot in fan art.
Well,
so.
they're wrong.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, Jesse just leaves his family abruptly with no explanation, comes home with a new face, doesn't warn them, oh yeah, I'm getting a new face. Also, he taught a very small child how to wield a gun, which ultimately was good, but that is poor gun safety. And then when he comes back and his son's mad at him, he's just like, I don't understand what the problem is. I did nothing wrong in my life ever, I'll have you know.
Also the alcoholism.
But I mean,
all that other stuff too.
The people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones, so I'm not going to bring that up.
Yeah.
But again, it's just you leave with no warning, dude. And then I'm supposed to forgive him for all of that, and it is kind of a slap in the face when Primera does forgive him, and I get it, he in fact was doing good, but you can be a good person and still be a bad dad.
Mm-hmm.
And that's definitely where he's gonna sit. He theoretically at least gets better. Billy, like many other characters, is kind of pushed to the side, so his reconciliation is limited.
Yeah, it is very limited, and I think my favorite part of the Billy and Jesse storyline is that after it's revealed that Bishop Stone is a piece of shit, Jesse, tells Billy, God lives in you, and it's important that his faith is internal. But I guess it will make more sense for me saying that, but that is one of my favorite lines in Xenogears. And so it sort of endeared Jesse to me, but it sort of my enjoyment of the character was very dislocated from the rest of the story, just because I don't I don't go in order, and Billy wasn't my favorite character, so I didn't immediately I wasn't also immediately angry at Jesse for being a bad father and leaving and stuff. But that's I did just want to bring that up though.
Oh no, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, he does try. It's just because Billy is kind of pushed to the back. The resolution is very swift.
Yeah. It is a good line, though.
It is a good line. Speaking of Jesse and Billy.
Next up, we have Bishop Stone, basically Jesse's surrogate father.
No, Billy's
Billy's
surrogate father.
Yeah.
Wait, what did I say?
You said Jesse.
You said Jesse.
Yeah. Oh, my bad.
It's all good. It's all good.
I'll stop talking.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
You're fine. Yeah. So all of the parts that Jesse was gone for, Bishop Stone filled in because of his weird obsession with Rachel. How are we supposed to pronounce that? I don't know. I don't know words.
Raquel? Yeah, I said Raquel.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I seem to remember that Jesse and Stein were rivals in high school or something. And when Jesse got married to... You said it.
Raquel.
I forgot. Raquel. It's not like... We don't have a whole lot of, implications. Oh, because of Thing, I want to own Billy because he's a part of Raquel, who I also like. It's very weird. I don't remember the Raquel part with the way that she interacted with Stein 1-to-1 before she was killed by him, I think. And I think when he Primera Primera was a witness to her mother's murder, which is why she stopped talking. But Stone definitely took advantage of Jesse's absence to steal him and indoctrinate him in the Ethos Church.
Billy.
Yeah, and the Billy that we know, Stein grew. So he Billy is kind of spiritually more Stone's son than he is Jesse's, but they're both bad.
Yeah, Stein actually really hated Billy and Primera because he saw them as proof of Raquel's taint, because he's one of those people. So, yeah. So he actually really hated both of them, and that was why he was so okay with, fucking up with Billy's life, because he didn't see Billy as a person, he saw him as the girl I liked had sex with, not me.
Yeah. I don't remember too much about how Billy feels about Stein. Does anybody else remember?
He did see him as a mentor figure, up until he fucked that up royally.
Yeah.
Yeah. until, you learn the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just, Billy's not my favorite character, but I do like him as a character, and, there have been times in my life where I've been like, gosh, I hate what I have, and somebody has come along and said, well, I hate what you have too, let's come and do things, and they haven't had my best interest at heart. So I resonate with that, and I remember it sticks out in my head. So I think when I think of Billy Lee Black and the Black family, I think of that entire arc. So in that sense, it allows me to like Jesse despite the fact that he's a bad father. So that's where I'm going from.
I mean, I very much like Jesse as a character. I do think he's interesting, and I do think it's a shame that we can't see him kind of rebuilding his relationship with Billy, because we do know that ultimately he really was trying to help. He just went about it in a way that did not at all fucking help in the terms of Billy's psyche. As a person with parents, there are some things where, your parents do it and you're like, I get it, but the damage is done, my dude. Yeah, so I think that Jesse would be firmly in that, I get it, but the damage has been done. So, well, we mentioned how half of the elements are bad dads. The other half just had bad dads. There's my segue. Hope you enjoyed it. It was a fun little ride. You got to lean forward for a little bit and go to the next stop in the mall.
It's great.
Oh, that metaphor was dead.
Like a dead mall?
Like a dead mall. So, speaking of dead malls, tell me about Ramses's dad, because I know you love Ramses.
Alright, so here's my take on Krelian and Ramses. Ramses was created for a purpose. He was not a normal child, so he was a product of one of Krelian's experiments on how to overthrow Cain. Let's see. I recently watched a video that went over it, and I've completely forgotten half of it. But in the beginning, I think the Project Ramesses 0808191 was supposed to be an artificial contact. So they were trying to make a separate their own fae with blackjack and hookers that they could control. But since they found fae instead. So they were like, well, we can't, this has no use for us. And when I say they, I mean Karen Wong being possessed by Miang and Krelian. Ramses was a fetus for 10 years in this tube, sort of growing and being educated and being set up with all these expectations of being special and wanted. But as soon as Karen Wong shows up and says really loudly, "My son's name is Faye, and we don't need this anymore," they were like, "Okay, well, we don't need this anymore." So Ramses was flushed down to the garbage chute, and I am not sure if it was. I think. Sorry. If. So many uhs. I'm sorry.
It's alright.
You're fine.
That just means you're thinking.
Yes, I'm thinking. I'm thonking really hard. I promise.
Get those hamsters running on them wheels.
Thonk emoji. So there may or may not have been a thing where, well, Ramses is useless to us, and he wasn't named Ramses at the time, but I'm just saying it because I don't feel like saying Ramses over.
We don't blame you.
Yeah.
Also, if you get that number wrong, you are going to get kicked off the podcast. So that number better be right.
It's etched in the underside of my heart and I know it, like I can recite it, so I'll be fine.
Okay.
But so there was a point where they could have just flat out terminated Ramses completely, but they put him, they instead of outright 100% double tap killing him, they flushed him down the garbage chute with a question mark death. And I don't remember if Krellian was going, like, I don't remember if there was a scene where Krellian was like, well, we'll just kill him, and Miang's like, no, we can still use him, but that may or may not be in the extra story that I saw in this video. But it's always something I just partially remember, or maybe I just feel it in my heart. Because
sorry, I'll let you finish.
Because I care Ramses too much. Anyway, during the course of his life, Ramses ends up on top. He ends up in this school, names himself, which then reveals, hey, Krellian, guess what? I'm still alive. And Krellian, once he sees Ramses is still alive, he's like, oh, well, you're the useless thing. I don't remember. I don't think it's in actual, like, flashback or canon, but I think it's explained at some point that Ramses is one of the only people who can kill Emperor Cain. And to get Ramses to cooperate with Krellian took a lot of deceit on both Krellian and Miang's parts. So they amped up his inferiority complex about Faye, like almost as maximum as you could get. So once Faye re-enters the stage, Ramses, who is supposedly like very cool-headed and an excellent like soldier for Solaris, off camera just like slowly degrades and becomes more and more not okay, to the point where he just like disobeys Krellian when he's tasked to go after Faye and Ellie when he gets Vendetta, and ultimately all of the negging and conditioning pile up to the point where they I think Krellian and the Gazelle Ministry say to Ramses, Emperor Cain is in your way. Ramses is not in the state of mind to fact check it and just does it. And that causes so much other shit.
Yeah.
And it's just like sort of like Krellian created Ramses while he was vying for power. He didn't create him in any sort of like fatherly sense in canon, I don't think. But he is technically, because Krellian created Ramses, he counts? ? So that's why he was on this list here.
Yeah, he absolutely counts. Yeah, the thing I was going to add was just that there is a scene where Krellian, they have test tube Ramses, and Krellian and Karen Miang are looking at him, and Karen says, oh yeah, my son's the contact. And Krellian goes, oh, so we can just throw this away. And then Fetus sells Ramses, is not happy about that, and that's when Karen is just like, yes, claw your way to the top, fight and scratch.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's probably the thing you were thinking of. And then they're like, and now we put you in the garbage, bye.
Oh.
Yeah, he was not even fully formed.
Yeah. Like, it's weird. I don't remember where I grabbed the 10-year mark for him, but I think that in the timeline it's 10 years between Ramses being a like 2-cell organism and year 10 him being in the tank still as a fetus. thinking, I was gonna think another thing, but the thought is gone. I tried to have a thought. It's gone.
It's alright.
Yeah, so Krellian,
Yeah,
bad
'cause
dad. Not
Very
no
bad
good.
dad.
It's okay.
Worse than Khan? Maybe.
I'd say so myself, but
I'll put that at a firm
yeah.
maybe.
I have my own things that I feel about based on my own life experience.
Very fair. Then, of course, we get to the ones that we have a little bit less to say. So we have Edbard Fatima, who's, of course, the father of both Bart and Sigurd. I forgot to mention this in the notes, but naming your son Bart when your name is Edbard, come on, dude.
Yeah, that counts as a bad dad move.
Bad dad move number 1. You named your son Bart. Your name's Edbard. Stupid name.
Then, made one of his sons, Sigurd, a servant, which was kind of shitty.
Yeah, not wonderful. Then, kind of
Fair.
hid the relationship, but I don't remember this as well as you probably do, Kat. So, did he send Shalimar and Sigurd away, or?
I thought that he sent them away rather than have Sigurd be a servant in his own home.
Because I know ultimately Sigurd does become, a caretaker for Bard.
But that doesn't happen until after the sacking of Abe.
Okay, so
by
initially
Shakan.
he just kind of sent them away, which...
Yeah. But I don't remember enough about it because okay, so he sends I think he sends Shalimar and Sigurd away. I think something happens to Shalimar. She may die early. After
Probably.
that,
She is a woman
Sigurd...
in an RPG.
Yeah, that's true. Sigurd is captured by Solaris for a really long time. And then he's in Solaris, and I think the sacking or the coup d'etat by Shakan is either imminent or already happening. So he goes back to the surface to help Bart.
Okay. Yeah. Probably there were political reasons of it's not a great look for a king to have a bastard son, but also I don't really know how royalty works there, so
Yeah, and it's interesting to see that Sigurd I'm not even sure if there's anything. Sigurd never really espouses any kind of jealousy or anger to Bart about his living situation. So that makes me think that he was never really the servant in his own home. Hello, Knives.
Yeah, definitely the story reminds me... I mean, it's very similar to the story with Kaiser, Sigmund, and Rico. It's like, there could have been some bonding there between Sigurd and Rico, but...
Nope.
It does remind me when I was complaining about the lack of good men to ship Sigurd with. Cilantro did go, wait, Sigurd. I'm sorry, did I say ship Sigurd or Rico? Because I meant to say ship Rico. Anyway. Either way, the point was, hey, here's an option.
Yeah.
I never thought about that before.
Alright, there we go.
We
There's
have
your
a new
new ship.
ship.
Make the art, make the fic.
It was like, I never thought about it. I just sort of have been pining for Sigurd and Ramses most of my adult life.
That's also very fair. You know what? 2 hands. Also, Rico's hands, extra large, can hold even more hands.
That works too. That's good.
Moving on.
Moving on.
Yes, next up we have Gaspar Uzuki, absentee grandpa.
Yeah, we never see him speak to Yui or Midori.
Mhm.
Yeah, he is the father of Yui, and yeah.
Grandfather of
He's
Yui.
the grandfather.
And great-grandfather of Midori.
Oh, my bad.
That's all good.
Yeah. It's like I'm not sure if I'm not sure if it was like intentional or it was like, hey, this is a really background character, so we're never going to actually have Yui have too many lines. So
yeah, Yui
might as
got
well
shafted
not,
so bad.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
poor Yui.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think it's in extra canonical things where we do see that Gaspar actually did have a positive relationship with Yui. And like he was why Satan had trouble proposing, because he's like, excuse me, whomst are you? No, you do not get to marry my granddaughter just because you swords.
I do like that Hyuga and Yui sort of get together very similarly to I forget if it was Macross or another series. But there's an old anime where there's the glasses pirate pilot who is very smart, and he runs up against a very badass lady, and they're like they meet in the middle of battle and they're like, oh no, you're hot, and end up getting married instead.
That definitely
Are you
happens
thinking of
in
Macross?
I
That does happen in Macross.
Maxwell.
That's Max and Milia. Was that her
and
name?
Yeah.
Then ultimately they have an unhappy marriage and too many children.
Really?
I think in like 7 they have too many children
Oh,
and
they
an
have that
unhappy
many?
marriage.
I never heard the unhappy part.
I only
Well, because
recently.
they have two daughters. One of them actually gets like a spin-off in a PC Engine game. Then
Whoa.
I think the other one was in Macross 7, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And yeah, Max and that pairing is weird. I'm gonna go on a weird tangent about Macross. Like, they fall in love because like she attacks him in a park with a knife, and they have like a fight, and he wins, and they end up falling in love afterwards.
Interesting.
I think also she's good at
It
video
is.
games or something that dumb.
Yeah, they compete in like a video
Yeah.
game. It is crazy. I love Macross.
Macross is really
but
good. This romance is poorly written.
The romance for it is so weird. And I remember their wedding looks like it came out of like some really like crazy 80s synthwave video.
I honestly thought that whole thing was like a flash forward, but then it's like, no, this actually happened in real time. And I'm like,
Yeah.
Okay. You know what pairing didn't get enough screen time because there would never have been enough? Roy and Claudia.
I was just thinking about them. I love both of them.
They were very good.
Yeah, they were. Claudia is just amazing.
Yes,
I love
Welcome
her
to Macross
so
Chat.
much. I would love to
Oh,
do a
nice.
Macross podcast.
I need to watch Macross.
You do, it's so
Yeah, you
good.
do.
It's on Netflix, I think, unless they took it down.
I think it's
Yeah.
on. It used to be on
It used to be on
Amazon.
Netflix, I don't
Oh,
know if it
It
still
isn't
is.
already. Yeah.
Who's another bad grandpa?
Balthazar.
Yeah. Back to the.
Balthazar. Also, we never see him speak to Maria. And Maria's
Yeah, it's
definitely
cool.
needing some, like, familial support.
Yes, like even a line or two. Hi, Grandpa. Hi, kiddo. That's all you'd need. But nope, it's not there.
Like, just Balthazar showing up to be like, hey, I heard my son is in a robot and dead, and that sucks a whole lot, and my granddaughter is definitely crying. Wow. Alright, I'm going back in my cave. This is too much for old man Bal.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go talk to my skulls. This is too much.
Alright, like, you go back to go talk to him, and he's just like, yeah, I spoke to Maria. That was a whole lot of emotion, and I've been living in a cave, my guys. You think I'm ready to handle emotion? 'Cause I'm not.
Wink wonk.
And then on a more global scale, we got the entire Gazel Ministry, who are also known as Everybody's Dad. Everybody's Dad is the Gazel Ministry.
Your dad's the Gazel Ministry.
Your dad is also the Gazel Ministry, yes.
I was trying to find where it said everybody's descended from the gazelle, but I could not find it. So, question mark.
I'm
Throw
so
his hands
certain
up.
there's a thing where it says everybody's descended from the Gazel Ministry or Cain. So, wait, no, you found a thing where it said that the ministry was descended from Cain.
Yeah.
So, Kane is the holy grandpa.
Yeah.
And then we have the ministry, and they make everybody else, and they're all like, let's put our children in a meat grinder to revive our god battery. And Kane's just like, sounds good to me.
Yeah.
And then
For many years.
then the ministry's like, what if we put all of the people into delicious kid cuisines made with actual kids? And Kane goes, yep, you know what you're doing, kids. I trust you. Papa loves you. Pat on the head, kiss, kiss.
It's very weird because my headcanon for what Emperor Kane used to look like is Ric Flair. So just imagining Ric Flair saying this to this to the Gazelle Ministry.
But yeah, Kane gets better because Satan shows up and says, actually, why don't we just leave the people alone? And Kane goes, you're right, glasses man. I've now seen the light. I will stop being a helicopter dad.
So was that from Satan directly, or was it something that he'd been mulling over for a while?
He wasn't sure what to do with people, so he said, Satan, I trust you. You have black hair, and that's pretty cool. And tiny little weird glasses. Go out and tell me if I need to keep watching the humans. And so Satan's like, you got it. I get to watch the living nuke and all of humanity. No problem. I can do this. I'm Satan. So he does, and he comes back and he goes, Kane, I've decided maybe we just let people be people. And Kane goes, all right, cool. I gave you the task. You did the job. Sounds great. And that's why the Gazel Ministry's like, we don't like our dad anymore. Our dad said we can't make people into snack foods.
Krellian, do something.
Son Krellian, kill your grandpa. And that's the story of Xenogears, everybody.
Erin, this being your exposure to Xenogears, do you have any comments?
I have learned a lot today. I feel like I've mostly absorbed the plot of Xenogears through osmosis for the last 15, 20 years, but I still don't really understand.
Now you understand it though.
But I recognize the names. Yeah. Now it makes sense.
Now you understand. It's a story of dads fighting dads.
That's very relatable.
You've heard of Dream Daddy? This is Nightmare Grandpa.
Nightmare Grandpa.
All right. Well, now we are on your area of expertise because now we are into Saga. We are into your area of
expertise
things where you can comment on them more. Well,
yes,
we get to start with two excellent, terrible dads. Suozuki.
Yes. Yes, the father of Shion and Jin.
Yes.
Shion's dad.
And husband of Aoi Azuki. That's one of those words that I always have difficulty saying, so I apologize.
Oh, you're fine. Yeah, he, speaking of Aoi, he did experiments on her. Well, that's great. Yeah, and left Shion in the care of Kevin, which that didn't really evolve into a very good relationship.
Yeah, that's true.
Known asshole, Kevin
you left out
Winnicott.
I was gonna say, you gotta say he's a known asshole. That's the important part about it.
Kevin Winnicott.
My bad.
Don't be nice to Kevin.
Kevin's not nice to you. You don't be nice to him.
This is true.
Also, he was unable to recognize a future version of his daughter, which, not really shitty, just come on, dude, she didn't change that much. The graphics aren't that good, my guy. She's very recognizable. But yeah, it's mostly the experiments, the lying to his daughter, who, again, she's pretty small, I get it, but, that he had to build up this web of secrecy and lies with him and Jin. And then did the whole, this was for your own good fucking garbage. Yeah, so... Again, ultimately doing things for good, just going about it in a shitty dad way.
Oh, yeah, the classic, this is for your own good maneuver.
Well, everybody's favorite good dad, Everybody's favorite dad. Their favorite dad who is a good dad. Dmitry Yuriev.
Yes. No.
Dot.
He did everything
sons.
right. He made too many boys.
He had some girls, but mostly boys.
He definitely had too many sons, also, parentheses, too many daughters. He had 669 kids, which is an average number of way too fucking many.
But if you were, 1 through 665, he didn't really care about you.
Yeah. So that's against... Don't make that many kids if you're not going to love them all.
He had to... Oh, no, I was going to defend him. No, there's no...
No, he didn't. He didn't have to do any of the shit he did.
No, he did not.
Then he treats, 2 of his kids he's like, hey, I need 2 of you in case I don't like this other one and I need to kill him. So I'm going to make 2 of you to just kill this other kid. And I think all of them have potential to be body hopping, but I'm not positive on that one. Definitely, the Guinan was potential body material.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember if anyone besides Citrine might have also had that.
Yeah.
I can't remember either.
More creepy.
But that's no good. You don't make your sons just in case you, need a new body.
That's bad parenting 101, man.
That's not what kids are for. No.
And you also, he also made his kids to fight God. There's that part.
Yeah, that's not great either. We just covered that was shitty when the Gazel Ministry did it. It's not good when you do it either, Yuriev.
But yeah, Yuriev, just sort of irresponsible sciences things into creation, and he's kind of I don't want to say on the level with Krellian. I don't know, maybe he is, but he's definitely Krellian in this way, because he doesn't see his creations in any kind of fatherly way, and he doesn't dispense affection to really anybody that we see.
Krellian fucked up one boy. Yuriev fucked up 669.
We don't know how many other boys Krellian fucked up either. So
that's fair. We don't know how many
we
he just
know
threw away and they did not climb out of the trash.
What about... So, Ramses is 0808191.
Oh,
how did it get to that number?
Okay, that's fair. Krellian fucked up way too many boys. What the Xeno universe needs is a strict sun limit.
Because currently there is none.
If you can't feed them all, you don't get to make them all.
Don't make any babies you can't take care of.
Anyway, 669 sons and or daughters and or non-binary children.
He would not have allowed them to not be binary. He would have just been like, I don't agree with you. You're wrong.
Weird.
There are only 2 genders, Nacho and Cool Ranch.
Probably not. Probably.
Well, speaking of someone with one daughter, how about Kevin?
Yeah.
Kevin, technically Cosmos' dad.
I guess technically one of her dads.
Yeah.
She gets better.
Fakes his own death. Yeah. Fakes his own death to get out of parenting.
Yep, that's not wonderful.
Classic bad dad move.
And then, assumes that his daughter is just gonna be like, oh, okay, yeah, Dad, you told me to do this thing, no probs. Just assumes that she's going to obey him no matter what. That's not great. Especially when you faked your own death to get out of parenting.
Well, obey is in her name, right?
Cosmos is also in her name, okay? The acronym sucks.
It doesn't make a lot of sense. It's It's like they gave her the name and then like made an
Yeah.
acronym to go with
Like,
it.
I want to name
So
her after a
we
flower.
could have
I
had
feel like that's probably what happened.
Osmosis Jones, the sequel.
Osmosis. Cosmos.
And there's our picture for the episode.
Oh my god.
No, actually, we obviously used that picture from the one ad where it was like a person with too many fucking babies. And it was like for the first game, even though that doesn't make sense until the second game. Anyway, this
yeah, I
isn't
remember
dead.
that.
Yeah, the guy looking in, and it's just like 100 billion clone babies.
Oh god.
So Erin, this one was your suggestion, because I definitely forgot about him.
Oh yeah, Grimoire from the Missing Year. Now,
Is Grimoire
I
Baron.
haven't actually gone through the Missing Year animation series for a couple of years, but yeah, like he is probably an underrated bad dad in the yeah. Basically, let me see if I can remember what he did. He was like, I think he was either Nephilim's. Was he Nephilim's dad technically? Yeah.
He's
and-
Nephilim's dad, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think was she Nephilim at that point, or was she Adel?
Oh yeah, so she was I think her name was Almadel or something like that. She was the
Amadel, that sounds better.
she was like a Realian that originally I think Shion's dad was doing some sort of experimentation on, and so Shion like became friends with her, and then they both completely forgot about it or something. And then Grimoire shows up years later, and Almadel's memory is all wiped, and she's calling herself Nephilim because she thinks she's like the actual Nephilim, and like it turns out Grimoire just wants to like download the actual Nephilim's memories into this Realian who's had her own memories wiped so that he can have his daughter back or something, and that's like just shitty on multiple levels, you know? Yeah, I'm not explaining it very well because it's been a while since I actually reviewed the source material, but I remember it was profoundly like messed up, and
Yeah, that sounds like
Yeah.
an even worse.
I think,
I was just gonna say that's-
fortunately...
anybody got
No, go
anything
ahead.
else to add?
I was just gonna
Yeah.
say it sounds like an even worse version of Joachim Mizrahi.
Yeah, it's like you can definitely see parallels, I think. Like I think in The Missing Year they originally thought that Almadel / Nephilim was like some kind of weird 100 series Realian, but then it turned out she was like something else entirely. And yeah, you can definitely there's definitely some parallels there. But yeah. He's like discount shitty Joachim Mizrahi or something. Yeah. Anyway, sorry that wasn't more interesting.
Oh, it's okay. I was going to say that fortunately not many people have seen The Missing Year, and therefore they can't correct us. So to correct us, please watch The Missing Year. And then we have winner of our husbando contest.
Margulis.
Margulis.
So he's not actually anybody's dad, but it is implied that he took some sort of interstitial care of Albedo when he was growing up. This may or may not actually have been a thing, but Ormus is weird. Margulis is extra weird for an Ormus guy. So it's clear that Albedo had very few decent role models, and scary paramilitary religious guy probably encouraged him to continue being as unhinged as he is. Just with the very Margulis-ish way of, hey, do what I say, and Albedo being like, nah.
Technically, though, an improvement from
Yeah.
Dimitri.
Slight. Only slight.
Like, when Margulis is a step up in the dad department, you really understand how rock bottom you were at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he kind of doesn't help Albedo's development and then proceeds to be mad at Albedo for not developing in a healthy way. It's like, well, okay, let's look back. Who raised him?
Whose fault is this?
Just rub his nose in it.
And to be fair, I thought of Margulis' relationship with Cherenkov as sort of like father-like, but kind of better since Cherenkov kind of develops a sense of purpose with Margulis, but that's my 2 cents.
It's certainly still like I'm trying to make this guy do what I want, and I would certainly say like manipulative mentory. I think just because of the lack of age or perceived age difference, I don't know if I would call it fatherly.
Yeah, like
gotcha.
I ship them, so I don't see this as fatherly. So, but I could see if you don't ship them, that this would be a conclusion that someone would have. So,
yeah, I don't. Again, I'm just saying because of the lack of huge age difference, I don't know if I would use fatherly, but definitely mentor.
This is true.
Which,
sorry.
Yeah. Oh, you're fine. No, I don't.
It's worth saying.
Everything is worth saying. There are no bad takes. Unless you say Kan Wang is a good dad. That's a bad take. Theme of this episode. Alright, is that all of the dads in Saga? That feels like such a short list, but...
No.
I was just about to comment on that. I was like, I feel like...
There have to be more dads. Well, shitty dads, because there are more dads.
Bad dads, yes.
We know there are more dads.
Yeah, but still, like, I'm surprised that there aren't more shitty dads in Saga. If anything, I would have expected Saga to have the most.
It had the most shitty. Like, at least Krelian wasn't body hopping to his sons. Krelian made his own body perfectly out of nanomachines so he could keep it forever. And didn't have to go sun surfing.
Sun surfing.
All I do is spew one-liners and hope people laugh.
Your one-liners are excellent.
Thank you.
They are.
Yeah, I guess we can move on.
If we think of more Saga dads, we'll come back to that. I mean, we will when we get to the good dad section, but...
I was going to say something that was, like, too headcanon-y, so I won't say it. But, well, no, I already brought it up, so
it's fine.
I will
say
it. So... I was thinking of Sellers, because I know Orgella has a line in her boss battle where she curses Sellers, because she has multiple personalities, so it sounds like she's undergone some experiments in the past.
Yeah. So
I'm just gonna, headcanon that as he was a very shitty dad to her, and, yeah. But there's not really not enough. There's really not enough information to confirm nor deny that, though.
There's not enough of Orgula to really have anything. So, I think that, honestly, you're doing Orgula a favor by headcanning anything for her. The poor girl.
This is true. Poor girl. Okay, yeah, but it's Xenoblade.
Shall we move on to Blade? Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Oh, no. Let's do it.
So the first one's just, like, one massive spoiler, but whatever. Okay, the architect made a shitty new Earth and didn't even want to take care of it. I guess I'm gonna assume that is the half that made the Xenoblade 1 world.
No, the Xenoblade 1 world architect did want to take care of it because he needed to grow his vegetable garden and then eat it. Xenoblade 2, he's just like, oh man, this sucks so bad, I'm just gonna stay in a tree and not talk to anyone. I hate everything.
I just sort of saw him as depressed, but that also doesn't make him a good father. Like, he could have disarmed Amalthus with, like, one word, or, like, have somebody come say something to him, but instead, he just, like, depression naps through the entire thing.
Which is a mood, but it doesn't make you a good dad.
No.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know, maybe
when you know...
Sorry.
Sorry. Especially when you know you have people worshipping you.
Yeah, he just sees Weird Blue Man take his treasures, and he just goes, whoops. I'll deal with that later.
Oh, well.
I'm not coming out of this tree for it. So that's why I was thinking Xenoblade 2 Architect as the shitty dad. Xenoblade 1 is still shitty, just for different reasons.
Yeah.
Because, when you make your children to eat them, you're still doing a bad job of parenting.
Yeah.
It's just you're not doing it as an absentee dad. So there's your choice. You can have absentee dad, or you can have actively malicious dad.
Neither's good.
Neither's good. Both of them are shitty dads! That's the topic of this episode. Alright, I've never heard of this character before.
Oh.
And we never spoke about him.
No,
there's no episode. There's no episode based on this character.
Is it
Dykson?
Dyksen?
Look, I don't know. Kat, do you have anything?
Dixon.
I've never heard of him. Who's this guy? Tell me about him. He sounds fascinating.
Hey, he's just a dick that shot his son in the back. I mean, yeah, what an asshole.
Dixon only worked for Zanza this entire time and basically raised Shulk like a lamb to the slaughter. And fucking betrayed everybody after like 70% of the game being like, hey man, I'm your friend for real. We're totally friends. I'm rough and tough and your friend, and now I'm not.
I'm so sad you weren't on the Dixon episode.
Oh. I love the prologue trio.
They are very good. I love them. That's why I got the face mask with them. That was made by Angela. We should link that.
Yes. I love
Very
Angela. Good. Wherever you are, Angela, I hope you're doing good.
Shout out to Angela.
Angela!
Angela, you made my felted Dixon. I love it. Oh shit, I spoiled the joke. I actually have heard of Dixon. He also caused Shulk to have to deal with Larithia for any amount of time, and I feel like that's like leaving your son in a whorehouse. That's no good, sir. One-woman whorehouse. If you are a Larithia fan, we would love to talk to you. I've tried to find one.
Like, the only positive thought I've ever had about Larithia is, damn, she thick.
That's the only positive thought I was able to find about Larithia. I was like, there's gotta be someone who likes her. There's gotta be, and I could not find anything.
I don't even see that much fan art of her.
Yeah, there's nothing.
And that says something.
Alright, somebody's gotta sacrifice themselves and be a Larithia fan.
Not me. Not it.
Nose goes.
Alright, Erin, we've nominated you. You're now the Larithia fan. That's your job.
No, don't put that on there.
I'll take one for the team.
Well, she hot.
Godspeed.
That's enough for me.
Excellent.
Which is why I'm surprised that there's not like a lot of fan art of her.
I guess because
it's like, a character is so unlikable when you've got a character like Larithia and nobody's drawing them.
I like characters who are irredeemable and hot.
Yeah, there we go. She's just your type.
Erin, you can make the art.
Yeah.
You could create the art, Erin.
Yes. You will be our golden goose.
Create it and I'll retweet it. There you go.
Don't tempt me. I might do it.
Alright. Moving on, we have the guy that Dixon gets beer with. Michael. Not Michael, Nicole.
Mikkel? Oh, now I'm questioning it. I don't know.
Not Michael.
It's not.
Not Michael. Nicole. Yeah, he can't even kill his son himself. He has to go and get some guys who know the guy he gets beer with and be like, can you guys kill my son? I can't. I just have to sit in my chair and laugh like the daddy pig voice actor that I am.
So he's a shitty dad for not being able to kill his son.
I'm saying if you're gonna go kill your son, you do it yourself. Dixon shot his own son in the back. Okay. Have the dignity to kill your own son, sir. I think he's shitty because he wanted to have his son killed at all. I mean, it's understandable.
Oh,
but
for sure. It's just funny how you wrote it.
I think again, if you've decided like this has to get done, you take that burden on yourself.
That's fair.
He is, however, a good father in Peppa Pig.
Yes,
does a good job. Yeah,
that's hilarious. It's the same voice actor.
It's my favorite weird bit of trivia.
That's pretty amazing.
Zeke's dad, who I put that name down as a placeholder, thinking I would remember to look it up, and I didn't.
Isn't it something like
Eulogimus?
Yeah.
Alright, I'll look that up now. I will politely not say anything, so if I make any noises, it cannot be heard.
Yeah, King Eulogimus Tantal? I cannot say that name. We'll just say King Tantal.
King unpronounceable.
Yeah.
Just to make it easier on ourselves.
King Tantal. That's good.
Yeah, my first impression of him was not very positive at all. I was just like, wow, you're an asshole.
Eulogimus.
Yeah, he banished his son from their own country.
Because he said, hey... Sorry. Go ahead.
No, go on.
No, I mean, we were going to say the same thing, so go ahead. I've spoken quite a bit.
Okay. Yeah, he banned his son because they had a difference in politics, basically because Zeke didn't agree with their isolationist society. How they isolate themselves from the different Titans. So it was like, well, I don't like your face, bye.
You want to see the other Titans so much? Cool, enjoy them, you're never coming back.
Also, on a weird side note about Zeke, I didn't know he had a canon age. According to the wiki, he's 25.
Yep. I think it actually is stated somewhere in canon, but I cannot recall.
Yeah, I always thought that Rex was the only one who had an age.
I know that Morag and Nia do not. But I think, like, Zeke has an age because, like, they give... It was something where it's like, oh, he was kicked out when he was 15. That was 10 years ago. Poof, he's 25.
Okay. That makes more sense then.
Also, I just thought it was weird that the king, who, when he loved scavenging, but he never taught Zeke how to scavenge, and that's just weird. Bond with your kid.
Yeah, he could have been buddies with Rex. They could have scavenged together.
Exactly. Instead, he's just like, oh man, I have a lifelong quest. I'm going to give it to this guy. Like, why didn't you teach your son to scavenge? Why didn't you do that? Also, how did you scavenge? You can't scavenge in Taltal. Salvage. Why am I saying scavenge? Oh, it's because I wrote it wrong. Well, second question. None of you corrected that.
It's okay.
Because we knew what you meant.
I've had too many drinks to correct anybody.
No, Erin, you're exempt from this. It's okay.
I'm sorry.
Then, of course, we got... It's fine. Salvage. He never taught his son to salvage. What the fuck? Bond with your kid. No wonder he hated your society. And our final bad dad, Nia's dad.
Does he have a name? I know he was like a lord, wasn't he? Or
Mr.
some like
Nia.
He had...
Mr. Nia.
I'm just going to call him Mr. Nia's dad.
Mr. Nia's dad, sir!
Yeah, he made Nia eat his old daughter, who was... That's not great.
What are you talking about? That's amazing.
And
every father should aspire to be like him. Be like Mr. Nia's dad.
No, don't encourage your children to, commit cannibalism on their siblings. Yeah, that's not good.
He was the wealthy lord of Echel in Gormat province, but no name. Just Lord Nia, I guess.
He's such a bad dad, he doesn't even get a name.
Bad dad, no name.
We'll see that is actually not the marker of good or bad dads for Xenoblade 2. When we get to our good dad list! Alright, that was all of the bad dads, everybody. That's all of them.
Yeah.
No more bad dads.
No
Yeah.
more.
So yeah, it's not all bad dads. There's a lot of good dads throughout the Xeno series. So let's start back at Xenogears.
I mean, I'll point out that the other thing was 2 pages and this one is 1. But yeah, a lot of good dads, a lot of them.
There's more than one, so that's a lot.
Alright, going back
first...
to Gears.
That we're starting off with Eric Van Houten, Ellie's dad. Sorry, did you have something to add for this? I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to start it, so it's fine.
Yeah, he was good. He was a good dad. He tried to keep Ellie off the military drugs, keep her off the drive. And he was actually not a dick to surface dwellers. Well, isn't it implied that... Wait, no. Never mind.
Her nanny was a surface dweller, and she thought that her nanny might in fact be her biological mother, and that... the thing that her mother basically says is, that's not true, and does it even matter because I raised you and I'm your mother? But that's a mother issue.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
He did sacrifice himself for his daughter and her friends. And he did
that.
not have any extramarital affairs. King Edbart!
That's always good.
But yeah, Eric was pretty harsh in some of his actions, and it felt a little antagonistic-y, but it really was just he was going, I do not want my daughter to run off with a bunch of renegades where she might die. That sounds terrible. Which, it's fair. It's pretty fair.
Yeah. At the time, I kind of didn't like him, but putting it in this way, yeah, he did care. He was a caring dad.
Just like it's possible to be a bad person and a good dad, you can be a good dad and a bad person. But I don't even know... I mean, he was a bad person because he was with Solaris, so...
Uh-huh.
Yeah. But even then, he did ultimately go, okay, you know what, this is what your heart desires, and I can't really justify keeping you from that.
Uh-huh.
And then he sacrificed himself. So I think ultimately... the bit of time where we see Eric as kind of a villain is just him going, I don't want my daughter to die, and I don't think that's villainous, really. That's not even that harsh and controlling. That's my take. Hot take. Khan is a terrible dad. Eric is a good dad.
Alright, so moving on. So this guy was also on our bad dads list, but here he is again, Edbart Fatima. But this time, not to Sigurd, but to Bart. He was actually raised Bart very well. Which is kind of unfortunate. It's like, oh, you're my legitimate child, so I'll raise you well. But still, he was still a good dad to at least Bart.
He raised his son to be a good boy, although he also raised his son to be a pirate. That part, I think, was accidental. Then we also have Nikolai Balthazar, who sacrificed himself to protect his daughter. And he loved his daughter so much that his AI overcame mind control because he just loved his daughter that much. Can your AI overcome mind control? It's not even really you. It's just your personality programmed into a robot. It's the echoes of who you were, and who he was someone who loved his daughter.
Yeah.
And Kim.
Yes, Kim, who made an entire daughter, and sacrificed himself for her in an era when people had stopped being able to have children. And the daughter in this scenario being Emeralda.
Mm-hmm. And he kept her in someplace so safe, it took, like, what was that, 40,000 years for somebody to find her again?
4,000.
4,000. I know what a number is.
That's still a long-ass time.
Long-ass time. That's pretty secure, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And, of course, we have Hans, the dolphin's first mate of the Thames, who ultimately goes on to marry Anna, the other pink dolphin, which was convenient of her to be color-coded. And she already has 2 kids, Lance and Lance's sister. And we do see Hans, trying to bond with his new son and kind of understanding that, like, yeah, this isn't going to be an instant process. Like,
Yeah,
he tries to give his son space.
Yeah, because his dad died not that long ago, right? Or
he died in a Wells attack, which happened, say, like, mid-disc 1?
Mm-hmm.
And you see him at the end of disc 2, but as to how much time that has passed in-universe, I know it's not supposed to be that much.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just arbitrarily say, like, 1 to 2 months. Point being, it hasn't really been that long to get used to, here's your new dad.
Mm-hmm.
And Hans respects that.
Yeah.
Those are the good dads of Gears.
Mm.
Good dads of Saga.
Yeah.
Good dad Saga.
Yeah, now this dad, throughout, like, the first 2 games or so, he has this bad reputation, so you wouldn't necessarily think of him as a good dad, but Yoki Mizrahi is actually a really good dad.
Yeah. Yeah, his reputation definitely precedes him, but I think he got his sort of redemption towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
Also, we just kind of generally see him being good with kids when he, like, sees future Momo.
yeah.
And he's just like, oh, hey, you can help me with this stuff. I'm going to speak to you nicely because you're basically a kid, even if you're a Realian.
Yeah.
And then he talks about how much hope he has for the Momo he's making at the time.
That was a really sweet
Right.
We
moment.
see how much he really loves Momo, and he really loved Sakura, and it was not exactly like an easy, well, this daughter's defective, time to make a new one.
Right.
It was like a painful thing where he's like, I don't want to say goodbye, so this
Well,
is sort of
also-
an homage.
Yeah, I mean, wasn't it at first he was trying to make a body to transfer Sakura's consciousness, but after Sakura died, it was kind of interesting to see that he was accepting of Momo becoming her own individual instead of being like a copy of Sakura. Something that, yeah.
I think he sort of realized that Momo was developing her own consciousness while he was working on her, so he couldn't in good conscience just put like Sakura's consciousness into there, because then he would be erasing Momo, who was like already her own person, which I think is interesting, since we mentioned earlier the parallels between Joachim and Grimoire. That's kind of the big difference between them. Like, Grimoire was willing to erase Almadel's memories and consciousness just to have her be like a vessel for Nephilim, whereas when Joachim saw that Momo was becoming an individual, he kind of backed off and was like, okay, well, she's her own person now.
Yeah, so he loved his daughter so much he made a second daughter. And now this is kind of why we had to have you on this episode, Erin. So if you would talk about this guy.
I
Ziggurat
don't know. I don't know too much about him, but I hear he's a pretty good dad, and yeah.
I've heard of
gosh.
Ziggy.
Yes, and the name sounds familiar. Gosh, I mean, what else is there to say about him that I haven't already like kind of over said already? I was thinking, I forget. I don't think I actually went into this on the episode that we did about Ziggy, but I thought it was interesting that in Pied Piper, it's revealed as part of his backstory that he lost his own father at a very young age, and it's kind of hinted that he had a surrogate father figure of his own. So it's kind of interesting seeing him, like, first becoming like a father to his stepson, and then becoming the same kind of father figure to Momo. Like, he's kind of like being the person that he needed when he was growing up. I always thought that was like an interesting dynamic, and it hits me right in the feels.
He's incredibly good.
Yeah, I love
Such a
Ziggy.
good dad.
He's such a good dad. He got Yuli to stop being a bad mom.
Yes, he is the best dad. Yeah, that's true. He did.
Yeah, Yuli was going through a bad mom phase, and he was just such a good dad. She's like, I can't do this. I can no longer be a bad mom, not with this incredibly good dad around. Also, he bought his son a puppy.
Yes. I want a puppy.
You have a puppy. You need more puppy?
Yeah.
That's okay. In arguable dads, we have Professor Hakase, Assistant Scott, and Alan, who are technically Cosmos' dads.
Yes, they are way better dads than Kevin. They let her be herself.
Yeah. They don't, like, demand she obey them. They're like, hey, go save your girlfriend, Mom. That said, Professor Hakase does have, like, his own little bit of creepiness to him, but he is we never see him being that creepy to Cosmos directly. He just does make some creepy comments.
I skipped most of the Robot Professor stuff because I'm a bad Xeno fan.
Alright, well, go to jail.
I will text you all from jail.
It's okay.
It's
I'm
nice
a bad
knowing you.
Xeno fan too.
Oh.
But he seems like a good dude, and so does Assistant Scott.
Assistant Scott is the best. Guinan, on a legal technicality, is a father to Junior, but no, he isn't.
They're bros.
They're bros.
Yeah.
Please do not make baby Guinan have to be a dad. Helmer, however, can be a dad. He does say that Mary and Shelley are like having a couple of daughters, and he's very, like, happy to see them, and I can't quite remember the scene, like, what they're doing in specific, but I do know that, like, he expresses joy seeing them, and that's when he says, like, it's like having a couple of daughters.
Yeah.
And he's also just such a nice guy. Helmer is he's such an underrated character. Helmer's very good.
Helmer Appreciation Life. Yeah, I think it's also kind of implied that he was like a sort of a parental figure / mentor to Junior and Guinan, but I don't. That might be up to interpretation.
I think that's solid. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I think it might have been more like a bit more distant, but also I don't know for certain. Like, I'm just gonna keep track of you because I am busy doing 100 other things, but I do want to make sure you two are doing well. He did his best. He's just doing so much.
Yeah, he's got a busy life.
Yeah. And then in our minor characters, even more minor than poor Helmer, who deserved better.
Helmer deserved better.
We have...
Hashtag.
We have Teflamagus. You know Teflamagus. I don't have to tell you who he is. And we have Eisenmagus.
They're just, big old Xenogears references. That's all they're there for. But
I almost forgot about my Magus. Sorry.
I can never forget my Magus because I hate her so much. But That's me. I'm sorry. But Tetsuo Magus is a good dad. He sacrificed himself for his daughter and has helped with working conditions in the mines. And Aizen Magus was Mai's grandfather, and he watches over her. And
He watches over her much more than Old Man Val interacts with.
Yeah.
That's
Ria
true. That's
in
true.
Xenogears.
Love to see them have a discussion where Aizen's just like, you don't even watch. She's 13, sir. You go and be a grandpa. I don't care that you want to live in a cave. Bring her to the cave with you. I don't know.
Mhm.
Stop being such a shitty grandpa.
She has no parental supervision. She needs you.
Aizen did have like a few shitty lines where he's just like, oh, Mai's such a tomboy. Like, oh, fuck off, Aizen. But, yeah. He actually was part of her life, so that puts him ahead of Balthazar.
Exactly.
Blade has, like, so many good dads. Blade has so many dads. Many of them good. Let's start with everybody's favorite dad that I'm not saying sarcastically.
Ricky. Yeah, he's a good dad. He loves all of his children, and he's got a bunch of children too. We talk about how there are too many children and they're not taking care of them. No, Ricky actually takes care of his kids, or at least tries to.
There is an attempt.
He went into debt.
There's an attempt. Yeah, but you know what? The attempt, just the fact that he attempted, that puts him above so many other dads in this whole little Xenoverse.
That's true.
Also that he was collecting kids because he was like, oh no, they don't have parents. I'm going to be their parents. Right. As opposed to and then how many more kids can I experiment on?
And he even offered to adopt Shulk.
Shulk already had a dad.
Yeah, but still, he wanted to be a better dad.
And he was a good dad to Melia too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Though he does say that Melia is like having a big sister.
Oh.
I don't know if you got that bit of dialogue. If you have a party with Melia, Charla, and Ricky will say that Melia is like a big sister, and then she'll ask about Charla, and he'll say Charla's more like a mama. And then Charla will yell at him.
Ricky's
very good.
Mm-hmm.
I like him.
He's so good. Where's our Ricky episode? Where all we do is just incomprehensibly talk about how much we love Ricky.
Yeah, and then Future Connected just makes him even better when you hear all the things that Nana says. It's just like, oh my god, why is he so good?
He's so good. He's such a good dad.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Ricky's a good dad. That's all I gotta say about him.
He's such a good dad. Anyway, Shulk already had a dad, though. That dad's name... that dad was Dixon. He already had a good dad. Before he lost all of his good noodle stars. Before Dixon decided to retire his good dad coat and pick up the shitty dad coat, he was a good dad. I touched more of this on the Dixon episode, but, Shulk is a good kid. He never, nobody ever really doubts that Dixon raised him well. Fiora does make a comment about Dixon being like a father to Shulk. Dixon taught Shulk how to make weapons. He encouraged Shulk to go out and see the world. I'm not denying that there is an ulterior motive and that Dixon does ultimately become a shitty dad. I'm just saying he starts off not a shitty dad. 10 of those years where he was raising Shulk, he did a great job. Then he fucked it up royally.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, it seems like Shulk came out pretty darn well.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think Dixon did something right.
Uh-huh.
Out of all the things he did wrong, he did something right.
He did so many things right and then just fucked it up.
Yeah, he raised Shulk all right. Until he shot him.
Until then. Yeah, until he just threw away his good noodle stars. He was a great dad. Then he just decided he was done doing that. Time to do something new. Be a bad dad. I know I did put Soren on the good dad list, but I do feel that there's a good amount of debate here, and he probably could have gone on both lists.
Yeah.
As
I think
of them
Soren
do.
is one of those, like, he meant well. He did truly care about Melia, but he made some pretty bad decisions.
Yeah, like he cared about uplifting Melia, like making sure she would succeed him. But the parts where he like didn't do anything to keep Yume's crew from making her miserable, it was kind of bad. And she was also kind of socially isolated too when she was growing up.
Yeah, there's a...
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Though, to be fair, part of, like, his bad decisions is also kind of just inherent to how the High Entians work.
Mm-hmm. Also true.
Yeah, that's more or less what I was going to say, that it was just a lot of, like, him not being willing to go against tradition too much.
Yeah.
Because he definitely went against it enough to be like, my successor is going to be Melia rather than Callian. But not, enough to say, also, we're gonna stop being shitty to non-pure-blooded Hyentia, because why are we doing that? Especially given the way our hierarchy works, where the ruler's expected to take a human lover and reproduce with them, and then throw the kid in the garbage. I have questions about the Hyentia's biology and lineage.
Yeah, I always sort of like assumed it was somewhere along the line somebody learned about the Telethia, and somebody was like, well, we need to make sure that we don't all turn into Telethia, so let's do this. And then they forgot why.
Yeah, it makes sense, and then it gets more confusing, because then there's the bit where they say Melia's 80% Homs, when they do the whole genetic scan, and I'm like, well,
wait, what? That's not how that works.
Yeah, that's not how that works, but also, like, no, not also, but exactly that isn't it. That doesn't work, and what does that say about her dad, and what? And, hey, wait, can we go back to that? What I'm saying is this is a great game, but sometimes they don't give you enough explanations.
Mm-hmm.
Show your math.
Show your work. How did you get this number? If you got this number, how does this work? How is this pure blood? Anyway. Mikol wasn't willing to kill his son. That makes him a good dad.
Yeah.
That gives him some points, I guess.
Yeah, I still think...
Partial credit.
I still feel that if you're like, I have to kill this son, you gotta do it. That's your burden, my guy. Don't ask your beer buddy's kid to do it. He did give Eggle, like, a million chances at redemption, and really seemed like the moment Eggle would go, actually, I don't want to do this, he would be like, great, welcome back, son, I love you. And he did support Vinay's continued efforts to try to redeem Eggle. I still think it's simultaneously shitty to ask somebody else to kill your son and to want to kill your son.
Yeah.
So he gets...
Even for the greater good.
You want to put him in... You gotta put him in baby jail. Where it was like, I want you to go put Eggle in baby jail. That wasn't an option.
Nope, gotta kill him.
Okay, so I think that covers Blade 1.
Alright, so on to Xenoblade Cross, we have Lao Huang. So, he goes...
He was such a good dad that he goes overboard.
Yeah, him being a good dad threw him into a villain arc. Which is sad.
Sometimes you care too much.
Uh-huh. Yeah, his family was left behind on Earth right before it went boom.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, he then he sided with the Ganglion to... Was there... Well... Oh gosh, I haven't played this game in a while. What
It was basically kind of to lash out, and it was kind of because he didn't like what Elma had done and wanted everyone to know. That he felt like they were all being deceived, and that he didn't like how it was determined who would be able to survive. Which are all very fair and valid points, as are Elma's counterpoints of we couldn't save everyone. But yeah, he loved his family so much he went on a villain arc.
Who among us has not?
I've never loved my family that much.
That's valid and fair.
Next up, we have Lynn's dad, which...
Did he have a name, I ask, as I go to the wiki?
I don't remember.
I don't think so, but I don't think so
either. Not that I remember.
But yeah, he was a good dad. He taught her how to do machines, and she definitely loved her parents, and I am not seeing anything about him having a name.
I mean, unfortunately, her parents died, like, did they die back on Earth, or was it sometime after that? I can't remember.
I think they die before the launching of the ship, if I remember right. I have the wiki right here. You just look at it. Shows the party. That's wonderful. Give me more information. Yes, 13. Wow, there's like not very much that's all that useful on the wiki for Cross. That's a shame. But I believe they stayed behind or died very early on with the ship. Like, something... They had to fix the ship in some way and died very early on. Or before the ship. It was an act of sacrifice, I just can't remember the details. But yes, Lynn regards her parents very highly. Everybody does. They made the Skells good. They gooded the Skells. They were the ones... Her parents were the ones trying to install the flight modules. And that was why it was such a very dear and important quest for Lynn. So, good dad.
Yeah.
That said, again, very poor lab safety. Lynn is 13. Do not allow her around that many explosives.
Well, speaking of someone that had kind of took a father role for Lynn, there's also Van Damme. Or Vandam. I always pronounce it wrong.
Sort of not wrong, because it is a reference to Van Damme.
Jean-Claude?
The very same. But Vandam. Not actual dad, very dadly. Very dad energy. I think he could be read as, like, dad adjacent for Lynn. I think you could argue that the relationship he has with HB is sort of dad-ish, but I would see it much more mentorly. Where HB, is trying to... Or not trying to, but he wishes to usurp Vandam because he feels like Vandam clearly doesn't understand what life is like for everybody at the lower fields, and he would be a better leader. And ultimately he goes, no, actually Vandam does know what he's doing, but I would still make a better leader because I, after all, am HB. Hector Birtwhistle.
Hector Birtwhistle.
Hector Birtwhistle.
That's an incredible name.
I love him.
HB is amazing.
Very good.
He's not a good... He won't be a good leader, but I love him, and he's funny, and he's an incredible foil, and an incredible character.
Yeah.
But he's also kind of a shit.
Yes, he is.
That's a good type of character, though.
And then we are closing up with Xenoblade 2.
Yes, first dad up, Adam, kinda. I mean, not kinda, but he was a dad.
I feel that Adam raises a very important ethical question. When does DILFhood start? Does it start at conception?
Asking the important questions.
Or does it start at age?
Hmm.
Or does it start when the first child is born and starts to be raised by them?
Yeah, all of these good questions. When does one start being a DILF?
Does it start
Because we
with
know
the
that...
D, or does it start with the ILF? That's the real...
And when is the transition into GILF?
I think, like, that's when you
Oh, the
make another
transition.
DILF. That's how it works, right? But yeah, his wife is pregnant, so that's like, well, do we count him as dad, or? But
Yeah, I think that counts.
but
Yeah,
more
that
to the
counts
point, even
for
if
that.
we decide against it, we have, of course, Mithra and Milton, who he acts very dadly towards.
Uh-huh.
Like, Torna is essentially, like, guy gets teenage daughter and now has to raise her. And he's like, okay, I'll do my best. I already had this younger child. I mean, 10, 17, how different could that be?
It was prepping him. It was prepping him for the future. Well, oh,
Good.
sorry.
But, man, Adam's wife got so shafted.
Yeah, I really wish you got to see her.
I really wish she, at the
Looks like a
very
second.
least, got a name.
I wanted to... So, what Torna became... I really want Torna 2.
Torna 2, Adventures of Adam's Wife.
Exactly.
Yes.
I want her to, like, lone wolf and covet while Adam's busy being like, oh man, I gotta hide my cool cursed sword, lady. She's like, that's great, I'm gonna go and make, I am blanking on the name.
Tantal?
No, that's where Zedar went.
Oh, okay.
Fuck.
Oh, shit.
It starts with an
thing-
L. And I keep wanting to say Larithian, and that's not right at all.
Something village.
Yeah.
Well,
The collection of islands that Rex is from.
oh, Left
Thank
Area?
you!
Yes.
Letheria. Like, she just goes and founds Letheria, raising 100 babies, fighting off every monster. It's a building sim, it's a baby taking care of sim. It's the best game.
Game of the year.
Gotta find
Torna 2.
the two foods the baby likes and make sure to get lots of them. So you can
Each
raise...
baby likes 2 different foods.
And only those foods.
And they have to be prepared in a particular way.
It's a crafting game.
I'd play
If
that.
you make the foods wrong, they will still eat them, but they won't get as many stat boosts. Stat boosts.
And they will resent you for the rest of their lives.
Yep. And-
Okay, maybe I wouldn't play that. That's a lot of pressure.
The
Too real.
Letheria game. It's excellent.
Well, let's talk about another fandom. Xenoblade 2
Alright,
fandom.
yeah, let's move on.
Yay. Orion Vandam taught Rex to be a good leader. And he also, he's just a really, really good guy. He's really, really kind. Taught Rex about being a driver, and of course he sacrificed himself, which makes me sad because I really wish we had more of him.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's also a really mature person, and jeez, he Xenoblade 2 Vandam was sort of like fatherly to not just Rex but everybody else like under him. And I had another thought, but it's gone. Continue.
I mean, he cared so much for Rex that after he died, he had him take over his mercenary guild. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just...
Yeah, and it sounds like even the people in the guild really looked up to fandom
Mhm.
too. So like, I guess it's implied that he treated them really, really well.
There's the line from whatever book that I forget. Treat your soldiers like your beloved children, and they will follow you into the deepest valleys. And like that book probably doesn't exist in Xenoblade 2, but you know the feel is there, and this guy definitely treats his dudes right.
Yeah. He very clearly cares about everybody. Like, he's definitely the type... Did anybody... I forgot which... I think it was the first Ace Attorney game where you play as Edgeworth, and there's that one character where he gives one of his subordinates a gift, and he's like, that's not my birthday. And he's like, yeah, but isn't it your mother's cousin's birthday?
I'm trying to remember who that was.
But that's Vandom. He will give a gift because, no, of course it's not your birthday, but I have memorized every detail about your family. Good dad, Vandom.
Well, let's see. Another father figure to Rex would be Azurda.
Who somehow taught Rex to fight? I'm very unclear on that.
Yeah, I'm trying to think like how that would have worked. Did Rex like fight on his back or something?
It's just, I don't know how much coaching you get out of a dragon shouting at you.
Yeah.
Azurda was also... He's called Nuncle by Adam, so we can assume there's some father-esque vibes there.
Uh-huh. And he provided Rex a rent-free home.
Yeah. That is true.
And he saved him several times. He's a good dad. It's just, I'm so stuck on the, how do you teach Rex to fight? Can we get a montage of that?
Don't
Training montage.
Don't think about it.
I'll try not to.
But you're gonna.
I'm gonna. And, alright, well, let's skip away from Rex and move on to the other teenage boy of the team, Tora, and Tora's dad,
Tatazo. Yeah, like they all bond by building robots.
And, of course, Grandpa Susu. We'll just shove them together in the same note.
Yeah, like I don't care for Tatazo family values, but that does seem like a pretty cohesive family unit.
Yeah, they clearly do care about each other. They worry about each other. They share creepy maid fetishes with each other. Yeah, the family who builds robots together stays together. If Lynn is anything to go by. Until the parents sacrifice themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Do we what?
I was just gonna ask, do we know anything about Tora's mom?
I just assumed Tatazo just butted. I assumed Susu butted a Tatazo and Tatazo butted a Tora.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's, like, isn't that where Napon come from? Butting?
You know, speaking of Napon parents, I noticed that there's not much to say about him, but not on the list is Don Don Don.
And whose fault is that? I believe I had the document up for quite some time, sir.
Yeah, that was my bad. I didn't think of him until just now.
Alright, well tell us about Don Don Don.
Not a whole lot to say about Don 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 other than, like, he's kind of a jerk. And then he ends up in, like, the little hamster wheel with the sun at the end of that quest.
I honestly never found that quest. I wanted to, but I don't. I have to look for it.
It's funny.
Yeah.
It is really funny.
Yeah.
There's a fun boss, too.
I forgot Don Don was a father.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I didn't
made
think
a
about it
Bana.
until we started talking about. Yeah, I didn't think about him until we started talking about like Tora's fathers.
Yeah.
He only has one.
Well, yeah, I meant father, and then
Yeah.
his grandfather. Yeah,
Is,
not fathers.
Is Don 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 bigger than Bana?
No, he's smaller. I
Alright.
think.
Oh my
That
gosh.
must have been a very painful bud.
Okay, I'm sorry. I also forgot something. But shout out to Mia's two dads from Xenoblade X. I forgot about that.
Ah, yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, Mia's two dads with your missable line of dialogue.
Yeah, it's just like in passing was like, oh, cool. Nice. It's canon.
And our final dad, a dad so important, he didn't get a name. Tornin King.
Adam's dad.
He exists.
He's even got like official art PNG.
Took Numa
But not a name.
different game to get that.
Yeah, that's true.
But no, Tornin King, he just comes out of the vat with that. He was, supportive of Adam. He did actually listen to the concerns of Adam and the people of Torna, and that's why he keeps kind of going against Zetar. Zetar or Zetar?
I think the way they pronounce it is Zetar.
Zetar, okay.
But he's such a minor character. It's like
He's
another
minor, but
reason
he got the
why-
name.
I know he did.
That's messed up.
And like he got Tantal as well, and another reason why I want Torna 2 so bad.
Yeah. But it's like theoretically at least Tornin King has at least one other son, right? Like, shouldn't he? He shouldn't just I'm confused about how the lineage works.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
Adam was
like,
not the next
usually-
in line. Oh, sorry.
Wasn't he like
Yeah.
fourth in line or something?
Something like that. Like, or maybe there were so many kids and Adam was the most popular or the most upwardly mobile, or
He was the
I
most
don't know.
well liked because he was the
Yeah.
closest with the people.
Mhm.
But it's like no other kids are addressed. It's just like it makes it look like it's just a contest between the king's brother and the king's son, and you'd think that wouldn't
Yeah.
actually be a contest.
Yeah.
And you'd also think that the king's brother would therefore be more invested in getting rid of the king rather than getting rid of his nephew.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's it's another case of, can you show me how this kingdom works, please?
Yeah. And like after like coming from the place of, oh hey, we had this entire like 50-page write-up on how Solaris works, and like all the way out here, the lore is stretched thin. Just like, please let more content like this. I want to know more about this content that you've made me care about.
I spent so much time, this is only vaguely adjacent, so I apologize, and we can easily delete this, but I spent so much time, like, stressing over what sort of prison system Colony 9 had.
Whoa.
And ultimately I was like, all they would have is just, like, military barracks. And then I just spent so much time worrying about the legal system. Anyway, don't write fanfic, kids.
I endorse that statement.
Same.
You'll just stress over tiny, tiny details that no one's going to appreciate or care about.
Fan fiction, not even one.
Stay tuned to our
Maybe
future
once.
fanfiction episode. Or well, wait, we did have a fanfiction
We
episode.
should make
Never
an
mind.
episode where we just like
We do have a fanfiction action planned, yeah.
we should just make an episode where we lament about how hard it is to write fan fiction. We can just
That can be in the
commiserate.
fanfiction episode. I don't honestly know what's going to go in there,
And
other than
technically,
dramatic readings.
and technically, our 2020 holiday episode was a fanfiction episode.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I assure you, I stressed over zero details, except for what Choo Choo would be doing post game, and all I decided was she'd be fucking.
Well, if we're talking about fan fiction, I'm probably done with talking about dads.
Yeah, like I said, it was an aside, and then.
Oh yeah, no, it's fine. But yeah, this was really good. I feel like we covered all the dads, but I don't know if there's any other dads that we forgot to mention. We are on Twitter at XenoChat Podcast, or just email us at xenochatpodcast@gmail.com. Oh, that was awkward transition. I'm sorry.
No, we're fine. Oh, unlike my transitions are always beautiful.
Well, I mean, is there any like last minute dads anybody can think of from either Xenogears, Xenosaga, or the Xenoblade games that we might have forgotten?
I got nothing.
Nope.
I got nothing.
I feel like there's probably some dad we're missing that was in like Pied Piper, and it was like a 3-sentence thing going like, "This is Steve.
Yeah.
Steve is a dad. Steve's
Or maybe
dead
there was like
now."
a dad in the side
Arguably
quest.
Sean McCallum, who was like a friend of Ziggy's father and kind of was like the father figure to him, and then
See, there he is. There's Steve, the dad.
there's
Yeah.
Steve. His name is actually Sean. But that's Steve. And then I mean, arguably you could say that Eric had kind of like a father-child relationship with Bugs the robot, but that was pretty subtle as well. It was mentioned once or twice, but. And he was kind of a shitty dad.
Well, that was a good addition. Thank you. All right.
That's like literally the only thing I know about. I'm sorry.
No, you're
No,
fine.
that's fine. That's like one of the things I know so little about, so it's very exciting to have you here to fill in the knowledge.
Yeah, I love
Oh,
Pied
thank
Piper.
you. Yeah, I'm sorry if I'm kind of incoherent
you're
about
good.
it, but thank you for having me on.
I only know about Pied Piper because I read the translation of Pied Piper to read your fanfiction, which was amazing, by the way.
I still
That
have to
will
do
forever be like my proudest moment.
I feel like
Thank you.
with the way Pied Piper is basically impossible to get to, you're gonna be like in Mad Max Fury Road, where you had the women with like books tattooed all over your skin. You're gonna be like that with Pied Piper. You're gonna be a living book of Pied Piper.
That will be that will be my legacy.
All right.
yes.
Well, that was our discussion on Xenodads. We probably at some point will have a separate episode for Xeno Moms, but I think this is probably a good stopping point.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you everybody for meeting today to discuss this. This was really fun.
Thank you.
So let's go around and say if there's any projects or like maybe even any games you're playing right now. Share it. Let's start with you, Justin.
Well, I've been playing Trails in the Sky finally, and I'm almost done with it. Well, I guess maybe not almost done with it, since apparently I'm in the final chapter, and the final chapter is pretty long, but I made it to the final chapter, Trails in the Sky first chapter, so yeah, I've been enjoying it. It's been a really, really interesting experience. If you follow Retro Roulette, I've been streaming on there every now and then. Like, I just finished up Misadventures of Tronbon, and I plan on playing some other games in the near future. I have a copy of Brave Fencer Musashi, and I've been wanting to stream that. So I'll probably start that soonish. But yeah, but I mean, by the time this episode airs, I probably would have started playing it by that point. So yeah, be sure to follow Retro Roulette. You can see when I'm streaming with my buddies on there, and yeah.
Nice.
That's all I've been doing, really.
All right.
Awesome.
All right. Well, we haven't heard from you in a while, Erin. What have you been up to?
Oh gosh. So Jeremy and I have been getting ready for another like local studio tour that I kind of feel like we just had the last one because they postponed it until September last year, and now they're having it on schedule in May this year. So it's and you know, time doesn't pass normally anymore, so it just, you know, it's just back to back. But we're getting ready for that, and so mainly the things that we've been doing the last couple of weeks have been related to that, just like a local art show thing. Yeah, and eventually we're gonna have our website actually set up, but yeah, that's about it though.
Nice. And
That's kind of
people
what's
can usually
consuming my life
follow your art
lately.
at like Jaren House, right? Or
Yeah, Jaren House is the Twitter account, and then our website right now is under construction. Hopefully by the time this episode actually is posted, it will be fully constructed, but the website is drawingwithjaren.com. So yeah, stay
nice.
tuned for
All
that,
right.
hopefully.
And I'll be sure to put that in the
Yeah.
notes.
Oh, thank you.
How about you, Kat? What are you up to?
Oh god, I spent the entire pandemic playing Final Fantasy XIV on the Excalibur server. My FC has done Emerald Weapon EX 50 times. And, yeah, let's see. I've been writing a lot of fan fiction. I shouldn't. If people are interested in Final Fantasy XIV villains and my fan fiction, please DM me on Twitter or Discord. Because I would like to share it, just not with everybody.
How would I DM you on Twitter?
My Twitter is Catamus_Prime.
Now I can DM you on Twitter.
I'm also, I started playing Hades, the game,
Ooh, nice.
last night on the Switch, and it is very good. The voice acting is spectacular, and the gameplay is wonderful. It's basically a game that rewards you for dying, and it's available on PC as well, and some other platform, I think. What else am I doing? I reconnected my scanner, and I scanned like 20 things before burning out. So I am probably looking to stagger my Final Fantasy XIV schedule so I can actually start working on original projects again.
Will I ever see Dixie again? Dixie has been living rent-free in my brain.
Who's Dixie?
Dixie was your gender bent Dixie.
Oh yes. I can give you all the old pictures.
Excellent.
At least.
She warms my heart.
Yes. Also, thing. I got promoted at work.
Oh, nice.
So, yes,
Congrats.
I'm no longer in QA. I am now a dev. So if you would like to know what game I work on, you should visit my Twitter. But that's it for me.
Nice. How about you, Robin?
Yeah.
Let's see, I've been playing Star Ocean: The Second Story. Right now I'm going through Rena's route. I'm on the second disc, so I should be able to start Claude's route approximately eventually. I don't know how long it'll take me. I'm very slow at games because I insist on talking to every single person.
I can relate
I
to
suffer
that.
that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, well, this is going to add, 20 hours because I have to talk to every NPC.
That's the best part.
It is the best part. As far as any output I've put in the world, I've apparently decided to disable my shame module, and now all I do is draw and try to come up with drawings of thoughty pictures of Dixon, because I'm just a fucking walking stereotype of myself. I swear I have other interests, I think I do. I
Pandemic hyperfixation. I feel you.
Oh,
swear,
but
I've liked other things. I remember a series of robots that turned into cars. I think I enjoyed that. Anyway, yeah, I can't say I've been doing much. How about you, Jen? Tyler?
You're fine. I've been kind of juggling a lot of things, but one of them is the first Star Ocean, which is okay. But I'm also juggling a bunch of other games, one of which is Nocia for the Switch, which is a really fun visual novel that's basically like One Night Ultimate Werewolf, but you're against AIs instead of other people. And I've have a hard time lying to AI as much as I have hard time lying to people, so I haven't been great at it. But yeah, that's mostly what I've been up to. Just juggling different games and juggling different projects.
I had a shower thought. Has anybody here not seen the Tokimeki Memorial action button review
I
video?
still need to
I
watch
haven't
that.
finished it. I still have like an hour left in it, but yeah, it is really good.
Yeah, I just wanted to plug that because it kickstarted some part of my brain that started caring about things other than Final Fantasy XIV. Honorable mention.
Okay, I can put that in the show notes. Alright. As far as the future goes for the podcast, because by now the Dixon and Blade driver relationship episode should be out, and I think we're also going to work on a villains episode at some point, so that'll be exciting.
Did we ever mention the merger on the podcast?
I don't believe so. I know last time Nick mentioned just following Xeno Underground on Twitter.
Yeah.
At
yes.
Xeno Underground.
All right. So Xeno Underground is a website that I established in 2013 after GodSib got hacked, and I had been managing it by myself solely for a long time, and I got tired of doing everything by myself. So I asked Jin and Justin if they wanted to help me. And so the XenoChat podcast group and Xeno Underground are merging. And also GodSib.net is up again. They run a forum, and it is run by Jesse. And we're glad to have Jesse. And it is the original Jesse from the original GodSib too. So it's like we have the baby back. So we like I was tired.
Replace the Jesse with a new Jesse.
Yeah. There's no replacing Jesse.
No.
So that's why I worked by myself for such a long time. But I was tired of working alone, but now GodSib, Xeno Underground, XenoChat, it's kind of a co-conglomerate.
Yeah. We're one big old Xeno family. Yeah, so yeah, check
now
out...
You're just encouraging Justin to bring back Xeno fam.
Hey, you're the one who said it, so...
You're the one who made it.
Well, anyway, so yeah, if you want to check out Xeno Underground, it's xeno-underground.net, and then there's godsib.net, and we're all on the social medias, so just keep an eye out for that, and then we'll see what new projects we have in the future together. Alright. Well, thanks for everyone for being here, and thanks for the listeners for listening, and have a good night.
Take care.
Alright, take care, everybody.
Good night, y'all.
Bye, Xeno fam.
Keep saying it. Alright.
Save the game?
Well, Kane does get better, because Satan says, how about instead of fucking with humans, we stop doing that? And Kane goes, you're right, Glasses Man, I now see the light. I'll stop being a helicopter dad.
I completely lost you, Robin.
I
I'm
noticed,
sorry.
I looked over and I saw that did not get picked up, and that is a shame, because my recording picked it up, but I guess that means Jin has his choice of recording in about 5 seconds when I repeat what I just said.
Editing magic. Editing magic.
I'm built pretty tough.
Discord? Discord? Hello. There you are, Discord.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm back.
It's okay. Every now and
Welcome
then,
back.
I look over and see that Discord has forgotten my green ring.
Oh.
I can't go on.
Did I cut out again?
Yeah, you did.
God
you did. I
fucking-
needed that last part.
Alright. So Xenoblade 1 Architect makes a vegetable garden that he needs to keep cultivating, so he's taking care of it. He's just shitty. But Xenoblade 2, he makes a new world and then goes, "Oh man, this sucks. Let me hide in my tree fort. Let me hide in my tree fort." Sorry, this keeps fucking cutting out.
Also,
I'm eating the mic.
Oh.
Do you? I'm sorry to interrupt. Do you?
Sorry.
Have you ever messed with your input
No,
sensitivity?
you're cutting out, Jen.
Oh,
It's
have you ever?
weird. It shows up fine on Audacity. Like the mic is picking up. It's just for some reason.
Well, I meant like in
Discord will
Discord.
just decide. I could try.
Have you ever lowered the
suppression.
sensitivity in Discord? Maybe.
Let me try that. There's some video. Input volume, output volume. Automatically determine input sensitivity. Okay, let's say no. I don't know what I'm doing.
Is there
Did
like
I improve things? I know there's a switch. It's just I don't know which slider make good. Which is the make good version?
You see the green and
Yes.
yellow slider?
Yeah, there's green and yellow. Which way do I make it good?
Make it go left.
I want to make it go left. Okay.
You want more green than you want yellow.
I want more green than yellow. Okay.
Yes.
This is good then.
Okay.
How about if I just put it all the way over here? Is this good?
That- Yes.
Okay.
Or we'll try and
Excellent.
see. Sorry. Continue.
Excellent content. Teach old man how to use Discord. Okay, Grandpa, you're gonna click on the one that looks like a gear. What?
Just like Xenogears.
Xenogears! I don't see anyone here that looks like the Weltall. What are you talking about?
Anyway.
Okay. Hopefully that will be good now.
Yes, tell us how shitty the architect is.
The
and how
architect.
Nice his. Yes.
Okay, for the 30th time. Xenoblade 1 Architect basically makes his god body be a vegetable garden that he has to keep maintaining, so he can eat the vegetable garden. So he's maintaining it. It's just for shitty purposes. But Xenoblade 2 Architect makes a world, hates it, and goes to hide in his tree fort. Finally!
I got to the goal.
Are you okay there, Jin?
Oh god. That picked up, didn't it?
I thought I heard
I
a
just
beep.
was worried that it was a fire alarm.
No, that was a fire alarm,
Yeah.
but everything's fine. Everything's
Oh,
fine.
no!
It's-
Alright.
my brother's cooking, so that's
Okay,
probably
as long as you were safe.
I thought it was my printer messing
It's
up or
fine.
something.
Naturally!
You have to make one small edit. Nobody say anything important, so when I make clicky noises, they can easily be edited out. Don't say things. Do not say words. No, I'm making edits. Making edits. I made the edit. Okay, everything's in order now. We can say important words again.
Important words.
I think it's about time for maintenance.
Oh, did we ever mention Xeno Underground? And oh no, there's an ambulance outside of my.
Well, that's rude of it. Go yell at them to stop
That's
being heard.
extremely rude. Anyway.
Okay, good job.